Buffett and I talked last week. We got into this conversation about Bank of America, about the job that Brian Moynihan is doing. Warren is very bullish on the banks. He's put billions into them. He says he has 100% faith that the banks are out of their troubles from the financial crisis. And Dom, this was really the money quote from Buffett. He said, quote, "The banks will not get this country in trouble. I guarantee it. The capital ratios are huge. The excesses on the asset side have largely been cleared out. We own, and I personally own stock in banks. I do not see problems in these things." And you know, Buffett doesn't give his guarantee to many things, but he gives his guarantee to the banking sector.
Everybody's got to love a guarantee, right? And how many times in financial markets do you hear that big G word, guarantee? What's interesting, let's take a look at some of the big bank bets that he's made. Everyone knows about Wells Fargo. People don't know, yes, U.S. Bank, also another big bank holding, as well as M&T Bank on the regional bank side. Look at the capital levels for all of these three major bank holdings that he has. They're all steadily increasing and have been since the financial crisis. So it just speaks to this idea that Buffett thinks these banks are well capitalized and can sustain a downturn if one does happen in the future.
Well, he did say to me, look, look at the capital ratios between here and Europe. We're much higher than they are over in Europe. Now, he's also done, as you know, these special deals with Bank of America and Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, the preferred shares, right? He basically, in essence, lends them money and charges an interest rate on these preferred shares. If you look at Goldman Sachs, you look at Bank of America, these two particular companies, capital ratios at Goldman Sachs, they've held fairly steady, we'll call it, even through the financial crisis. Bank of America, you can see, though, having those levels increase as well. So those preferred shares are certainly a way that Buffett gets involved with these banks as well.
I want to talk about Bank of America specifically, Dom. And in particular, I want to remind our viewers about what that special deal was. Remember, he dreamed that up in a bathtub?
Yes, I remember.
That's what he said. Okay, in August of 2011, Berkshire, they bought the preferred shares in the bank. They pay a 6% annual dividend. He's getting paid to basically sit there with these, and they can be redeemed at any time for $5.25 billion. Buffett, though, also has these warrants, these 10-year warrants. And let's say that he exercised them today. He would be looking to be in the money of about over $3 billion just on these warrants alone. Look, Buffett told me that he's not looking to exercise these warrants anytime soon because he says these shares are going to go up and up and up. And he's hoping that he's going to have the conversation on the warrants closer to the time when they, when they get to their deadline, which is about 9 years.
2021.
Exactly.
Right. It's a long way away.
It is a long way away, but he also told me that the bank is, quote, in the process of trying to get rid of their highest cost, whether it's debt or preferred or whatever. Their condition has improved so significantly and interest rates are so low that they have the chance to do a number of things in that respect. I think they will do whatever makes the most sense for them. And that was really in response to a question about whether or not Bank of America would call back those preferred shares.
Well, it's interesting. There's a reason why Bank of America wants to get out of this particular deal with Warren Buffett. It's great to have the capital, but this capital, preferred stock capital, does not count as Tier 1 capital under these new banking regulations. You'll hear it referred to as Basel III. Under these new guidelines, these preferred capital buffers, if you will not count. And it does cost Bank of America something, about 6% in terms of a coupon. They got to pay interest in that amount. If Bank of America just had similar maturity debt, it would cost them significantly less. So it would cost them a lot less just to have debt versus those preferred shares.
Right, just have debt versus preferred shares. But there's also other issues as to why they can't.
Well, if you look at the overall reason why, there's a big problem here because when it comes to the actual preferred shares, yes, it's not counted as capital under Basel III, but under old capital requirements, it is counted as capital, and they are preferred shares. Shares being the key operative word. When you engage in any kind of a buyback, share buyback, you automatically think about the Fed, right? They got to ask permission from the Fed anytime they want to pay a dividend, anytime they want to buy back stock. That's the reason why it's important. So it's not just a cut and dry case. If Bank of America wants to buy it back, they can. They still have to get that Fed permission to do so.
So it's not just a board issue, it's really a regulatory issue as well, then.
Right. With all these banks, remember, as part of taking that the aid, if you will, from the U.S. government, they've got to ask that permission. So yes, $5.25 billion to redeem them, but they still got to get the Fed's permission to do so, even if they had the money to do it.